So today we're going to talk about the Malfoys, the Muggle-hating, Muggleborn-hating Malfoys. Not the only Muggle-hating family, I've said Muggle quite a lot, but one of the more outspoken collectives on the topic, led by Lucius Malfoy, the egotistical, self-centered bigot who basically believed that he and his family were above and beyond everyone else, including some of his own peers. So what was his deal? And what was the real truth behind so many of his actions? And why were the Malfoys such avid pureblood elitists? Well, in today's video I'm going to discuss exactly that. I'm going to discuss what I believe was going on inside the man's head, why he believed what he believed, and I'm also going to shed some light on his motives. So stick around and join me as I dig deep into the Malfoy family history and just try to understand where such a hatred for non-magical folk stems from. So Lucius Malfoy's overall behaviour appears to be like it's almost hereditary. Now when I say hereditary, I don't mean a genetic condition carried down through his family bloodline, although that is the description of the word hereditary. No, what I mean is it's more of a family custom that's so heavily focused upon that it's as if it was in fact something each Malfoy is born with, as it so greatly affects and influences their personalities. Now the Malfoys, as many of us know, are very wealthy, they're quite prestigious, and they are one of the oldest, if not possibly, founding families of the entire wizarding community of Great Britain. Now I can't guarantee that last statement, as we've no way of knowing who or even how the first original wizarding community began, but for me personally, I like to believe that the Malfoys were at least part of it. So many of us have wondered just exactly why Lucius Malfoy was so against Muggles and Muggleborns. Even half-bloods weren't his favourite of folk either. Now obviously the hatred of these people is J.K. Rowling mirroring racism in the modern world, but here's where it's just a little bit different from me. Let's look at Lucius Malfoy for a moment. He's a Malfoy. He's from this wealthy family steeped in magical history, and according to him, it is integral to not only respect the family beliefs and mannerisms, but also to uphold them proudly. Anything else is just unacceptable. His father, Abraxas Malfoy, raised Lucius so sternly in such beliefs that even in his latter years, after the war, after Voldemort's death, after hundreds of people dying, Lucius still believed that blood purity was of the utmost importance, which goes to show how much he treasured his family values. And Draco was every ounce of his father when he first entered Hogwarts, firstly making it known who he was, then degrading Ron Weasley for his family's poor status within the community, and trying, followed by failing to befriend Harry Potter, of whom he made an immediate enemy of. So surely I wasn't the only one thinking, how on earth is it possible for a child to be so nasty in the way Draco was? Yes, there are bullies out there, and yes, he was a bully, but he had a motive. A strong motive, a stern motive. And that motive was simply to let it be known that those who are not worthy of the presence of a pureblood will certainly be let known of it. He wanted to make Lucius proud above all else, as his dad had painted a rather attractive picture of what the Malfoy lineage and history is all about. Why was Lucius himself so passionate in upholding the beliefs of his family? Well, in order to find that out, we have to go back. Way back. Back to a time when there was no Ministry of Magic. Back to a time when the Wizards Council wasn't even formed yet. Back to a time when the four founders of Hogwarts were in their prime, they were young, and creating a school for the magically gifted hadn't even been considered a concept as of yet. So ask yourself, what kind of a world was it like for wizards and witches of the time, of that age? A time when science could not explain what we find as explainable today, when anything out of the ordinary was immediately associated with the devil and considered evil. Even to this day, Muggles still outnumber magical folk by the thousands, if not millions. It was an awful period. It was an awful time. Wizards and witches were hunted down constantly and slain because of their magical gift, because of their genetics. They couldn't be let live in peace. It was constant bloodshed and war between two races. There was no rules for the magical. They weren't separated, they were integrated into Muggle society, and some of them were probably hiding too. Then we have a man called Armand Malfoy. Armand, wanting to escape similar horrific scenes in France, moved to England, where he witnessed the same thing happening. So he decides to protect himself by aligning with the new King of England, William I, using his magical ability to carry out several devious services for the king, and in exchange secured not only his safety but his own piece of land, which he built Malfoy Manor on. Armand never forgot the atrocities he had witnessed even after his move to England. How cruelly treated his kind were, outnumbered and slaughtered. He vowed to only associate with those of his own kind, those who would never mix their blood with the Muggle race, who had come so close to obliterating the magical folk. The Malfoys are not just a family of bigots because they suddenly felt like they deserved respect. They weren't influenced by others who shared similar beliefs. No, you see, the Malfoys' pureblood beliefs stem back to Armand Malfoy, the first Malfoy to ever settle in England. 10 centuries of custom, 10 centuries of tradition, 1,000 years each Malfoy father has educated his sons and daughters to only associate with their own. That is why Lucius is so passionate. That was why Draco was so passionate and eager to please his father. Each generation of Malfoy strives to uphold 1,000 years of family custom, of pure blood belief, of prestige and honour. It is a duty for this family. So you can imagine how Lucius must have felt after hearing his family's history and the struggles of the Muggleborns when this Lord Voldemort comes on the scene, vowing to finally purify the wizarding world. Something that Lucius knows his family have waited 1,000 years, 10 centuries to see. Not to discredit the previous attempts of like Grindelwald and others over the years, but Voldemort was on an entirely different level. And a Malfoy rose to the rank of becoming this Dark Lord's second in command. Now, some of you may know that, but for those of you who don't, Lucius Malfoy was directly under Voldemort in the First Wizarding War in his chain of command. He was the first Malfoy to actually assist in the attempt to install wizarding dominance. What an honour it must have been. And if you actually think about it, it does serve as quite a fitting explanation as to why Lucius was incredibly loyal to the Dark Lord during the First Wizarding War, and it's also a very valid reason as to why he tried to spearhead the attack for wizarding dominance even after Lord Voldemort's downfall. However, many of the Dark Lord's army had fled or been captured, but he still tried to take the world on. It also explains the pressures that Draco must have felt when trying to uphold the Malfoy family name, because I'm thinking, yeah, okay, the Malfoy name, yeah, they're prestigious, I get it, but why is it that important? 1,000 years of Malfoy family tradition, that is why. The thing is that, despite all of it, despite his illegal participation in both wars, his loyalty and his beliefs, Lucius chose his wife and son over everything else. His duty never once ranked above his family or their importance. And I think the difference with the Malfoys over the other wizarding families who also valued pureblood supremacy is the fact that Armand Malfoy pioneered it. And that's what makes it so interesting to discover that there is a root to the beliefs and not just a case of them joining the crowd. And with that being said, guys, that is all for today's video. My question to you is, did many of you know about Armand Malfoy and the fact that he came from France and he was the original Malfoy settler? Let me know in the comment section below. I do apologise for the length it's taken for the next video to come out compared to the previous one, so thank you very much for your patience. Have a good day, and I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate your support. Everyone, notifications of uploads are more important than ever. So please, if you haven't already, turn those notifications on to make sure you're notified the moment my video goes live. Making videos is what I love to do, it's my dream and my passion. However, it does cost time and money to produce this content, so if you have $1 to spare to support me on Patreon in exchange for some exclusive unseen content, then you can click the Patreon link below or at the end of this video. Please only support me if you can afford it. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at InstaDNJ and on Twitter at PotterFolklore. Check out my other videos appearing on screen, and please make sure, most importantly, to hit that subscribe button. Thanks again everyone, and please have a great day.